What's up, guys? Elizabeth here. I know Jeff went over with you in a previous video the why of why it's so important that we're changing people's lives and why it's so important that we have salespeople on the team. I'm going to explain in this video the how, right? How we're going to accomplish that. So I have a sweet PowerPoint presentation for you guys. I'm going to start sharing my screen here. Okay, and there we go. Okay, great. So let's get this started. All right. So the how, right? How we're going to change people's lives. All right, this is the nuts and bolts of day-to-day consistency, right? So this is a quote that I love. It is from Nick Elliott. It says, the first step towards getting what you want is taking responsibility for the results, right? This applies not just to the leads that are coming in the door to talk to you, but also to yourself, right? If you want something in life, whether it's, you want to see success in your work, or you want to see success in something outside of work, the first step towards getting there is owning the results and the process. That's what this is going to be about. All right. So the tools of sales are including but not limited to these things: Zen Planner, Scipio, RingCentral, Gmail, Google Calendar, and good old-fashioned paper notepad. Right. So we'll go through each of these things. Just keep in mind that you're going to be using all these. They're just tools for success, right? Each one has its own virtue and own use. So let's talk about leads, right? New leads are super exciting. There's 4 different types of leads you're going to encounter. There's a phone lead, somebody calling into the front desk; a web lead, somebody who goes to our website, fills out a request for information, and sends it in; a walk-in, which is they're coming in off the street. They're like, no, I don't got time for a phone call. I don't got time for a web lead. I'm going in, right? I'm going to see what's going on. And then last but certainly not least is a referral lead, right? We love referral leads. They are given to us by our members, all right? So phone lead is someone who calls in the front desk looking for more info, right? Most of the time the front desk team member is going to take that message first and then pass it on to you, or I will send it to you, right? A web lead is, we want to get them, want to get back in touch with them as soon as they submit the inquiry. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. A walk-in, we want to talk to them right when they're here. So drive everything, handle them. And a referral normally is a student comes in and says, hey, my friend really wants to, come in and check it out. How do I make that happen, right? So that's the 4 types of leads that we're going to be helping. How it works with leads is, if you ever worked in a restaurant before, it's going to be round robin style, right? So think about, you go to the hostess stand, right? The host greets you and then they seat you in someone's section, right? The next group that comes in gets sat in the server's section that's next on the list. So they kind of go down the list here, boom, and then as soon as they get through, they start that cycle back up. So that's how we do things here. Noting that a full-time salesperson is going to get more leads than a part-time salesperson simply because they're here for twice the amount of time, right? Common misconception next here, boom, there's no such thing as a bad lead, right? All leads are good. All leads are potential opportunities for life change, right? So if we go in thinking like, oh, this person looks like they're gonna waste my time, they're like high maintenance, whatever, right? You've already decided that you can't help them. So go into every situation thinking, I'm gonna change this person's life today, right? No matter what. That's what you have to think constantly in your head. The next thing is just kind of a fun video I like to play. I think it's Alec Baldwin is hilarious. So I'm going to have you pause the video for a second, click on that link. It is a clip from the movie Glengarry Glen Ross. And I like it. Some of it's really, a little ridiculous and there's a ton of profanity, so fair warning if you're sensitive to that. But I like it because of how bold he is, right? So take everything he says with a grain of salt, but think about his boldness, right? And then we're going to incorporate that type of boldness into every interaction that we have moving forward. All right, so go ahead and pause, click on that, and then come back here to the presentation. All right, cool. So it's something else, right? There's a lot going on in that monologue, but some of the things that he talks about is, he's just so sure of himself. If he talks to somebody, he's going to get them to buy, right? Now, our goal is not just to buy, but like more than that, to commit themselves to a life change. So what we're doing is a little bit more emotional, right? But he's so committed and he's so sold out to the success of his team and himself. And he's so committed that he's going to like offend everybody in the room who thinks otherwise, right? So I like to start off with that, right? And the last thing with regard to your leads is the sooner you make contact is the better, and the more often you make contact is the better, right? So if you get a lead in, I want to reach out to that person like the very next second, right? As soon as I get that person in front of me, I'm like, okay, awesome, I'm going to change their life right now. If you wait an hour, 5 hours, the next day, 2 days, right? They've already moved on to something else. Their excitement and their motivation to take a risk is a little bit less. So I want to get them as close to the point. I want to talk to them as close to the point where they felt motivated and inspired to reach out to us as possible, right? And then the more often you make contact, the better. So these are actual legit stats, right? Only 2% of sales are made after the first contact. Then 3% of sales are made after the second contact. And the majority of your sales are made between 5 and 12 attempts of contact. So that's why I like to say the more often you contact, the better, right? I want to be going back between call and text and call and text and call and text, because I want to give them as many opportunities to take advantage of the change that we're offering as possible, right? Follow-up is going to be everything. Unless you're reaching out to somebody 12 times in the first 2-3 weeks, don't expect you're going to change their life, right? Because it is on us to be persistent, right? They have so much going on in their regular lives, kids, school, work, right? They might have pressing family situations going on, right? It is our focus and our job to make sure that we reach them, okay? So that is what that is about. Types of contact, right? This kind of gets into the tools of the trade a little bit. We call, right? We love to call. We have a RingCentral phones, which are internet-based. So the phones at the front desk in the facility are RingCentral, and then there's also a RingCentral app you can download right to your cell phone. It's free, and it just allows you to make calls from your cell phone, and it will port it through the company number. So it allows you to call people from your cell phone without worrying about like, oh no, they're going to have my personal information. If I call somebody on RingCentral using my phone, it will look like Krav Maga Maryland is calling them, and they will never have my personal cell phone number. So that's good if you are, for whatever reason, not in the facility, you get a lead and you just want to reach out to them as soon as possible. Or, you like are working from outside and it's a nice day. All right. So after our call, leave a message if we have to, right? We're going to look at Zen Planner shortly. Would document everything, but always leave a message so that they get your information and they get to hear your voice and your enthusiasm, right? We also text via Scipio. So people love text messages, and I always do it in conjunction with my phone call. So if I call somebody and I leave a message, I'm going to the very next second send them a text message like, hey, it's Elizabeth at Krav Maga Maryland. I just left you a message. I'm so pumped to help you get started with training. When can I give you a call, right? And I try to make it fun. Like send me an emoji, send me your favorite emoji back, if you get this, right? So just think about making it personal. We're not like a business to business where we have to be super professional. You're talking to a real life person on the other end of the line. So try to make it fun too. And if you have fun with it, they'll have fun with it. And then lastly, I like to mention this, email sucks, right? Don't rely on email to make your contact, because email people can really ignore. I get so much spam in my email. Normally I just delete it right away. So if I do that and I work at the training center, I know that everybody else is doing that too. So I just include that to say like, it's not effective as a form of communication. That's going to build real contact and trust. So don't do it. First contact, so exciting. Like I said, first contact should be made as soon as possible. So like if I get a lead into my email, like I should be immediately picking up the phone and being like, I'm so pumped to call this person. This is so great. Hopefully this is on the website. If you're here in the facility, that should be within an hour minimum, right? So constantly checking your email is going to be really important. So you make sure that you see those when they come in. If you're not here, say I send you a lead on a Friday, you're not here, you get in Saturday morning, that should be one of the first things you do the next morning, right? So there's a huge urgency with getting in touch with people, especially if it's a situation where the person has recently been assaulted or experienced a violent confrontation, because for them, it's even more important that we reach out as soon as we get it, all right? Also, just in general, the sooner that you contact, the more pumped they still are, because whatever got them feeling brave enough to take the first step, like, okay, I've been nervous about doing this, but like, I'm going to go to the website. Just go to the website and fill out information. For them, that's a huge deal. And so I want to get them as close to that point of resolve as possible. And, it's even more fun if they're still on the website when I call, because a lot of times people are like, holy crap, that was fast. And I'm like, yeah, like, we're really excited to have you. And that gets me off to a really great start with them. All right. Some more contact. If you haven't noticed, this is really important. If for whatever reason I haven't been able to get in touch with them the first time, right, I'm going to try reaching out to them every other day until I'm able to help them, right? Or, until they tell me to stop calling them, which is, fine. But I'd rather be persistent. I'd rather have somebody tell me that they're not interested anymore than for me to prejudge and give up because I'm scared of failure or rejection. Okay. When I pick up the phone, I have belief that that individual phone call is important, right? The person that I'm dialing needs me to call them. All right. Even if it's the 15th time that I'm leaving a message. And, if you call somebody once and give up, it's like the same thing as never having called them at all. So know that like your persistence is going to be really key. That's a huge strength of success, right? And even though it will feel sometimes like, oh my gosh, this is the same name that I've called for the last 10 days. I'm so tired of it. Know that, they need that from you. Okay. I like to use Camille Jackson as an example. She's somebody that I got as a lead in 2012 when I first started doing sales. And I called her every other day for like 3 weeks and I left messages. She never picked up the phone. Finally, she did pick up the phone and she was like, oh yeah, I want to come in, but like right now is not good. Can you just follow up with me in like a month? And I would keep following up with her every single month, like clockwork. And even if she didn't pick up, it started to become a little bit of a game for me. Like I'm going to get Camille to come in and start training. So 3 years later, she signs up for a membership, right? And she's still here. So she's awesome. She's got a great personality. She's got some health issues that she's working through. And for her, being here is a huge step forward. So, when you think about not calling somebody like, oh, I've been calling them for 3 months, like I'll just give up, right? Think about Camille and think about like the person that you're calling could be the next Camille. All right. All right. So ultimate goal with any and all contact, right? Phone or text or anything like that is to develop rapport and trust, right? Rapport is just kind of a friendly back and forth where they feel like they're having a real conversation with you and you actually care about them and are listening to them. And I want them to trust me, right? I want them to trust me with their deepest fears, apprehensions, worries, hopes, dreams, goals, everything. I want to find their why, that capital W why, that why that's driving them to confront, their fear of looking stupid or their fear of failure or anything like that. I want to find that and I want to like hold it up in front of everything else, right? And I want to gain knowledge, right? I want to know who is this person. Nothing is too unimportant for me to find out, right? I want to know, how old they are, where they went to school, where they're from, right? How long have they been in the area? Where do they work, right? Do they have kids? How old are their kids? What are their kids' names? What got them interested? How did they hear about us? Everything, right? And I'm taking notes the whole time. This is where your paper notebook comes into play. Like I'm writing all this down. Every little bit of information that I get about this person is valuable and it is gold, right? And I want to build urgency and excitement for the training, right? What we do is exciting and fun. And I want them to hear that from me, right? As their salesperson, I set the level, I set the standard of enthusiasm, right? And I'm going to get them to meet me in that, right? So if they're starting here and I'm up here, by the end of that conversation, I want them to have slowly worked their way up to where I am, right? I'm not going to expect them to be pumped right off the bat and like have them start here and have me be like, okay, well then I'm here too. No, I'm coming in at 11. All right. And if they end up starting at a 5 and end at a 9, like that's a win for me. By the end of the conversation or the end of the process with them, I want to get them to where I am, which is like super pumped about the training and I believe in it. I'm sold out. All right. And I want to ask for the yes multiple different times. I want to think about like minimum 7 times each time I talk to them. And they can be like small yeses, but they build upon each other. All right. So, so I didn't mean to skip forward. Sorry. Things like, when I find their why and I explain the training, I'm like, okay, Jane, do you feel like, coming to this class and participating in this training like this is going to get you to where you want to be? And I want to ask them that and then shut up and listen for them to tell me yes. Like, okay, awesome. Now we can move forward. Great. And I want to say, okay, awesome. Do you feel like is now the time for you to commit to making a change in your life? Are you ready for that? Are you ready to sacrifice 3 hours of Netflix a week, right? Are you ready to sacrifice drinks with the girls? Are you ready to sacrifice, beer and football on Sunday afternoon, right? Yes, I'm ready. This is important to me. I want to get them yesing their way along a path towards the decision, which is your gold nugget at the end, okay? Booking your appointments. When I talk to somebody, when I get them on the phone with me, I want to book the appointment within 48 hours of when they talk to me or when they become a lead, right? The reason why is if I talk to Jerry, whoever Jerry is, if I talk to Jerry and he's super pumped, right? And I'm like, awesome, we got him to an 11 on the phone with me. This is great. And his why is important, right? He wants to gain the confidence to protect his family. They just moved to the city. Like, he's a little concerned about security. I'm like, okay, awesome, Jerry, we can help you with that. Are you ready to get started? Yes. He's like, I'm ready, Elizabeth. Great. And then it's a Friday and I don't book his appointment with me until next Saturday. What do you think is going to happen to his level of enthusiasm in the 7 days following? It's going to go way down. It's going to disappear. All right. Because he's not talking to me during those 7 days. He's got the other crap that he's going on and dealing with his life that is getting in the way. And so the odds of him showing up, number one, are really low if it's that far out. And two, he's not going to remember all the reasons why it was important to him in the first place. So, within 48 hours, they become a lead on a Monday. I want them in before Wednesday afternoon. Okay. The next thing is like confirm. I love confirmation. I appreciate the crap out of it. Because I'm busy and forgetful. So people appreciate follow-up. When you book the appointment, I'm going to give verbal confirmation at booking. Okay, awesome. So, Jerry, I have you down for Wednesday at 5 p.m. I'm so excited that you're coming in. Here's our address. I'm also going to send you a text confirmation in a couple of minutes, okay, with all the information that you can have and save in your phone, okay? Awesome. And then I'm actually going to do that when I get off the phone. I'll send him a text message. Hey, Jerry, Elizabeth, super pumped that you're coming in. Address, time, what to wear, what to bring, fun emoji, right? Send. And then the day before, I'm going to call him. Hey, Jerry, it's Elizabeth at Krav Maga, Maryland. Just want to follow up, make sure you're good to go for tomorrow. I'm super pumped, right? Even if you leave a message, people appreciate it. And then I'm also going to text him the morning of, all right? Just a quick little, hey, Jerry, just confirming your appointment for today. Super pumped to meet you. Get you started. So we have scripts for you, all this stuff, but just think like it's not ever too much, okay? People appreciate that. And then just a quick bit, we'll go into Google Calendar in more detail, but like that will save you, okay? Stay organized. In person, so great. So they've actually come in to talk to you. This person is ready to change. They've made a ton of different steps. They've gone to the website, filled out information. They've answered your phone call or your text message, and they've committed to coming in, and they've actually shown up, okay? So this person is ready. They've made all the decisions to get to that point. They're ready to go. Remember, you're their expert. You're their expert of Krav Maga. You're their expert of fitness. You have the tools they need to get where they want to be, right? So, you're going to reestablish that baseline rapport and trust again. You're going to refine their deep why. You're going to understand, okay, so Jerry, why haven't you gotten where you want to be, right? And kind of go through what we call the cycle of pain. The cycle of pain is just, here's all the things that you've tried that haven't worked, and here's why it's not your fault, okay? And here's why it will work with us, and it hasn't worked before. Here's what you were missing that you will now have, right? And then you're going to connect their deep why to the training over here, all right? Here's his why. Here's how he's going to accomplish it. And then get him to outline his own short-term and long-term goals. And then you paint the picture for him of what the next 6 months of his life, of his triumphant life, are going to look like. Cool? Boosh. A couple questions to ask, right? Okay, so Jerry, like you talked about, you want to get confident, you want to be an example for your kids, right? You also want to lose 20 pounds, right? Okay, let me ask you something. It's going to be a little uncomfortable, okay? What do you think will happen if at this moment in time you do nothing about it? And just be silent. It's going to be really uncomfortable. You let him answer, right? And he will probably say, well, I'll stay overweight and I'll stay nervous, right? And you'd be like, exactly, right? So let me ask you something else. What do you think will happen if you make a change now? And, let him answer that and let him take power in that question, right? Because he has the opportunity to take ownership of change. And then, okay, awesome. So Jerry, here's how we're going to get you from where you are right now to where you want to be over here. And the idea is you talk about the vacation, not the plane ride, right? So the vacation is the blue water, right? The beach, the 5-star food, all this different stuff. The plane ride is like, I'm waiting in line. I have airport bathrooms, plane food, right? I'm like tired and hungry, all this different stuff. You don't want to talk about the plane ride. You want to talk about the vacation. All right. So with training, you want to talk about attaining goals, making friends, building community, getting to where they want to be. You don't want to talk about the equipment, the pads, right? How clean the bathrooms are. All right. The bathrooms are clean, but nobody cares. Okay. So focus on that vacation, that end result, versus all the little tiny unimportant things that are involved in the vacation, right? And ask for their yes. Same thing as on the phone. I'm going to ask for a resounding yes the entire time I'm talking to them, right? So I'm going to get them to answer yes to accomplishing their goals, right? Jerry, are you ready to get this done? Right? Okay. Yes, taking the risk. Jerry, are you ready to take a risk to step into the training room and get started? Yes. Okay. And for a lot of people, that's a huge risk because they don't want to look stupid. They don't want to risk failure again. All right. And then I'm going to ask them, Jerry, do you trust that we're going to be with you every step of this way? Do you trust that we're going to be with you this entire time, this whole journey? Yes, I do. Okay, great. Let's get you started. All right. The ask. All right. This is really important. And when I was talking with Jeff about this, he and I went through different versions of this whole time. We ended up with this. Okay. So we're not in danger of forcing people to make a decision and being too pushy as salespeople, right? What we're in danger of instead is of being too timid and afraid with our invitation. So human tendency is to always shy away from what's tough and to always go towards what's comfortable, right? So you think about you're driving in a car and you let go of the steering wheel, it always pulls in a certain direction, right? That's the human psyche. You're always going to pull away from what's tough and what's hard and what's confrontational and towards what's comfortable. Okay, but what's hard and confrontational is absolutely necessary and key to affecting life change in anyone. Okay, no one ever did anything great by being comfortable. Doesn't happen that way. So our role as their salesperson is to challenge their comfort zone and be direct and unapologetic in what we're asking for. Yes, of course I want to sign you up, Jerry. I want you to finally lose 25 pounds and feel like you can be an example for your son. Don't you want that? Shouldn't you want that too? Yes, I want to sign you up. Absolutely. Right? If someone's like, oh, you're just trying to sell me membership. Yes, I am trying to sell you membership because I want you to change. So good ways to ask, right? Okay, awesome. So Jerry, let's get you started training today, right? All right, awesome, Jerry. So you're ready to get started. Would you rather start with Krav Maga only or with Krav Maga and fitness, right? And then go through a plan for him. Or you can say, okay, awesome. So you're ready to get started. We have a 6-month and a 12-month. Which one did you want to get started with? Assume the sale, assume their decision, right? All right. So then what does this all mean? It means that follow-up and consistency are tools for radical compassion and service, right? You can be incredibly talented. You can be incredibly intuitive and compassionate with people. But if you don't have the discipline to follow up with them, you're never going to get the opportunity to actually change their lives, right? So it takes both talent and diligence. They're like an Oreo cookie, okay? You don't have the cookie without the two sides. The key to winning is making every single person in front of you or on the phone with you feel like their goal is as important to you as it is to them, as important to our team as it is to them, because it is important to us. If someone comes in here and they're like, I was recently assaulted and I'm afraid, right? That instructor that has them in their class is going to make them their number one priority, because to them, to that instructor, the feeling of failure, feeling of fear that they're experiencing is unacceptable, right? They're going to get them around that. They're going to make that their number one priority. Same thing with coaches. If somebody has a fear of working out, right, that coach is going to be on it, right? That's their number one priority. And then the last thing is that you earn the right to be bold and persistent by your actual legitimate commitment to them as a person, right? You as their salesperson, you are committed to them crushing their goals. And that's how you earn the right to be bold. That's how you earn the right to ask them to take a risk. And that's how you earn the right to, confront them on stuff like, oh, I don't know, if I can do this. I don't know if I can stay consistent. I don't know if my wife's going to be whatever people will think of, they'll throw up at the last minute because they're afraid. You earn the right to call them out on that stuff by your commitment to them. All right. So that is all I've got for you guys. In a nutshell, that's the how. Okay, so come back to this, go through it multiple different times. There's so much to dig into here, and just think about like this first thing here. The first step towards getting what you want is taking responsibility for your results. All right. So as you're going through this module, just keep that present in everything that you're learning, and every person that you talk to moving forward. All right. Cool. Crush it.